The designer module interface may seem daunting at first look, but you'll see that it's actually pretty straightforward. Let's first take a look at the different panes that appear inside of the designer module so that we can familiarize ourselves with the different functionalities. The very first pane is the resources pane, which contain all of the resources that is used inside of the template itself. This includes media, master pages, context, images, as well as fonts, JavaScript, style sheets, and snippets. Right next to it, we have the outline pane. This simply displays the different elements inside of the currently active view inside of a simple tree view. So if we select anything inside of this outline, it will also be selected on the page. The next pane is the attributes pane. This displays the basic properties of any element selected within the workspace. For instance, clicking on an image shows its source or where the image is located, as well as what size it is, etc. While as clicking on a table element will display other properties. The data model pane shows the exact information that you have inside of the data mapper module, basically the extracted records for the current data sample. In order to display information in the data model pane, either you have to import it or you have to have a data mapping configuration open and active. The scripts pane will display all of the different variable data scripts that affect the page, and basically this is what will replace data on the page with information from your current record. So for instance, the invoice customer ID script will replace the invoice info customer ID placeholder on the page with the appropriate customer ID from the data once you switch to the preview mode. Speaking of the preview mode, that is part of the main area in the middle of the designer module, which is called the workspace. The workspace is divided into 3 different tabs. By default, you have the design view, which lets you edit the template, add and remove data, and it shows the placeholders for the data, whereas the preview mode will actually show the result of all of the replace scripts or all the scripts inside of the workspace. So data from the data model is added onto it. Dynamic tables have a different number of lines inside of them, etc. That is the end result, basically what you would see in your output. You can also look at the source tab, and this will show you the source code of whatever is active at the moment. So here we have the print context. This is the source for the print context. You can also show the source for any snippet, JavaScript, or CSS style sheet. At the top of the window, you also have a couple of toolbars that will let you do things like control font formatting, add specific elements like pie charts and barcodes onto the page, and change the alignment of different elements. Now, let's go ahead and create a new template from scratch. You can do that in 2 different ways. You can use the Create New wizard, which is either selected from File View or using the New button inside of toolbars, and that will give you a textual list of all the different templates that are available. Now here there are a couple in which you can choose. You can have the default basic email, print, and web template, or you can have different pre-made templates that we provide that already have a couple of design and content elements inside of them. So for example, inside of email templates, you can have an action template which has a small message and a button, or you can have an invoice template which already has a detailed table ready to add your data. However, let's go simple to start with, and we'll just select an empty print template. And we don't need to change anything, we'll just create a letter template and click Finish. Now I said there were 2 ways of creating a new file. The other one is to go through the welcome screen. Now you may have noticed the welcome screen when you first open the software. You can bring it up by clicking that icon in the toolbar at any time. From here, you can create a new template, and this is the same as all the 3 default templates that we had. Or you have the different template wizards, which are the same as in the new wizard that I showed, but you have a small preview of what they look like. Now, when you create a new template, one of the first things you want to do is to have data coming into it. Now, we already have an open data mapping configuration with a PDF transactional invoice, so the data already appears in the data model pane. Now, let's say we didn't have a data mapping configuration open. There's two ways by which you can attach a data model or data to your template. The first one is to, of course, open a data mapping configuration as I had. The other one is to simply import promotional data directly into your template. You can do this from a CSV file or a database file. So let's do a CSV file and show you what that looks like. So when you import a data from CSV, you simply have pretty much the same thing as you have in the data mapping wizard. You select the file that you want, confirm that the information is valid, set up the delimiter information, and then click on Finish, and you automatically have all the promotional details. You cannot create a transactional file using the import data. For that, you have to create a new data mapping configuration or open an existing one. Now, if you already have a template that's been opened with an existing data mapping or data model rather, it will kind of stick to it in the sense that the first data model that is opened or imported inside of a template is the one that's there by default. Now, what I did is I first started by doing add data from a CSV file, so it kind of kept that data model. Since I opened an existing configuration, I need to synchronize the template with the data mapping configuration. What this does is that it basically overrides the existing linked data model with whatever you have in the attached data mapping configuration.